Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural MindGrapes podcast. On this podcast, we discuss everything from hot and steamy trends in streaming media to geopolitics. My name is Clark Cave, and I'm joined by Trent Reese.
I'm Trent Reese. That's Trent at themindgrapes.com.
Okay, so let's go in and get started. Okay, so the format of this podcast is going to be a little interesting. The first thing we have to do is introduce keywords that will hopefully make sure we get more than one viewer. So we'll go through keywords first. Bitcoin.
Well, Bitcoin. So I have to just put it out there that I am a Bitcoin investor. I don't have much in Bitcoin right now. Let's just say the last few days have been a little rocky. There have been a lot of ups and definitely a lot of downs.
So you're saying some people have made money and some people have lost money?
Imagine that.
That's fascinating. Okay. Bitcoin. Good. Ukraine. Talk to me.
Well, this is the hot topic right now, right?
Yeah.
In the world. I have a lot of personal opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us do have personal opinions. And let me just say that I am the foremost expert on Ukraine. Like,
really?
The one thing that I've seen, just scrolling through Twitter, is it's amazing how many Eastern European experts there are in the country.
Yeah, of course. You watch the news.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the answer. But you're telling me that you know how to handle the situation.
Well, let's just say that before Ukraine, I was a public health expert.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think there was a notable shift, and it was probably about 3 or 4 days ago when I decided that I'm going to shift my expertise strictly to Eastern European politics.
Well, that actually segues nicely into something that got 200,000 searches yesterday, CDC Mask Guidelines.
Oh, boy.
So can you tell us a little bit about the mask guidelines? Are things
well, I saw
good?
the CDC guidance basically said that for the majority of Americans right now, healthy Americans with no comorbidities, you don't have to wear a mask. Now, I'm going to be careful about what I say because I don't want to get a shadow banned on Facebook,
mm-hmm. on
Instagram, and all that, because
mm-hmm.
this could be considered misinformation, even though
Yeah.
I'm putting out CDC guidance. But I saw 73% of healthy Americans no longer have to wear masks, and that includes indoor environments as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
So for us, living in San Antonio, I obviously got really excited about this.
Okay.
Came to find out that we are in that small population that is in a high-risk area.
Oh, yeah.
And still have masking requirements.
Okay, so all of those things are incredibly boring. Now let's move on to some fun stuff.
Okay, let me ask you a keyword.
Yeah.
All right. So next on our keyword trending is Joy Behar.
Joy Behar.
So take it from there.
I am not going to jump into that one.
All right. Next on the trending list is Medea's Homecoming.
Medea's Homecoming. Also, I don't know.
Any opinions?
I think I saw one Medea film like 12 years ago. So I've not watched this, but we'll see how this goes on MindGrapes.
Well, you're a Georgia guy, right?
What's the guy's name? Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
Is he from Georgia?
He has the huge studio in Georgia.
He does?
Yeah.
I guess I've never seen it.
But I think he's one of the big reasons why a lot of filmmaking and show making are moving to Georgia.
Well, good for the economy. Have you seen Kimmy Schmidt, the incredible Kimmy Schmidt?
I haven't. No. It's something I should put on the watch list.
It's very, very funny. There's a guy on that show. I'm going to look him up. So here, okay. While I'm looking him up, talk to me about the Vikings Valhalla.
I have nothing. I have no opinion on it because I've never seen it. Just scrolling through MindGrapes, I've seen a couple people like it so far and recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, have you ever seen an episode?
No, I've never seen it.
It's obviously trending, so I think a lot of people are watching it.
Yeah.
So
actually, a ton of people are watching it. So, so really quickly, back to hate to say this, Tyler Perry. Titus Burgess reminds me of Tyler Perry. Titus Burgess, who played Titus Andromedon on The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. He went to University of Georgia.
There you go. Go Bulldogs.
That was a very, very long segue, but he has an F- on MindGrapes, so he may want to go on ahead and sign up and go dogs.
He hasn't joined yet, huh?
He has not joined yet. Okay, but here's the last one. This one's interesting. Amanda Bynes.
Okay, so this is a trend or a topic that I have very vague information about, but kind of going back to the whole Britney Spears thing. It was one of those things where I was born in the 90s. I'm a 90s kid, but I grew up with Britney Spears and Amanda Bynes. Britney Spears, obviously, in her pop career. Amanda Bynes during her time on Nickelodeon. I was a huge Nickelodeon kid. So it's been amazing just seeing the whole transformation, the ups and downs of both of those careers. But as far as Amanda Bynes goes, currently, it sounds like she got herself into a conservatorship.
According to multiple reports, Bynes, now 35, filed a petition today at Ventura County Court to regain her independence. So yeah, she is... I think she's seeking to follow in the footsteps of Britney Spears, who also allowed her father to control her money and her life from another child star. Once we get more than 3 viewers on our podcast, we should be able to put this stuff up. But she has a heart. You're not gonna be able to see this. She has a heart tattoo on her face. I think that's a tattoo,
That's
and it looks like a jailhouse. It's like not a good one.
It's like a big pen, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Well, poor girl.
Yeah, but it sounds like if you want to get yourself into conservatorship, you either have to move to California or to be a child star.
Female
child star.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Are there any famous males that have gotten themselves into a conservatorship?
I guess I could Google it, but it's not trending on. It's not trending here. So Vikings Valhalla.
Yeah, I think that's one that I just got to put on the watch list and maybe watch an episode or two.
I don't know. Any of these like historical dramas that like really depart from history, I almost resent them. I don't.
So you weren't a Game of Thrones fan, even though that is not history
fantasy.
at all.
That's fantasy.
Strictly fantasy.
It's fantasy. It's when it comes to, I don't know, some of these things. Like,
you know what
really,
I'm
really
waiting
dumb.
on?
What?
I'm waiting on like a Founding Fathers show where they're just these hard action stars, you know, kind of like the Vikings Valhalla concept, but Founding Fathers in the mid 1700s. What do you think?
Like with The Rock? It's like
Benjamin.
What are you talking?
A bald Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah. But all those guys wore wigs. Do you know why they wore wigs?
I have no idea. No.
And makeup? Because it's an interesting story.
Tell me.
So, what is it? Syphilis. A lot of the men back then, or there were men. Actually, there was like one particular a member of a royal family in France or something, and he had syphilis, and like his hair fell out, and he had all this, like his skin looked bad. I think it was syphilis, and so in order to cover it up, he would wear like a lot of perfume and put makeup on and made his cheeks rosy and had to wear wigs, and that style, that fashion was born out of syphilis. So don't say STDs never gave you anything. Well, I mean, they gave fashion.
So how do you think you got syphilis?
Are there kids on this podcast? I don't know.
No comment.
No comment.
Segue. All right.
Yeah, we'll cut that in post. Okay, so now we've been through keywords, so we can increase our search. So I think we'll effectively be on the 50th page of the search search engine. Okay, cool.
Unless we pay for a promotion, we could also pay for some promotion.
Yeah, we'll do down the road when we have money.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a quick word from our sponsors. Lamad Remembership. They are a loyalty software serving particularly aesthetic offices. So if you're looking for a HIPAA compliant loyalty software, lamad.co. I say again, lamad.co. There's my military trait.
I was going to say, don't you own that company too?
Okay. So, now let's get to it. How are we on time right now?
We are right at about 10 minutes so far.
Okay. So, Trent, what is on your MindGrapes?
Let me tell you what I am currently watching. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching it because it's something that you recommended. And I dug my heels in. I didn't want to watch it. I watched parts of the first season. It was entertaining. And the first season came out probably 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's been a while. But I am currently watching Love is Blind 2. And just full disclosure, I'm only about 2 episodes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, highly entertaining. I don't necessarily understand the concept of not seeing a person and spending maybe a few days, a couple weeks, talking to somebody and not being able to see them.
You don't understand
and
that?
then just dropping the question.
Yeah.
It couldn't be me.
Well, in a perfect world, that's what you want, right? Beauty is only skin deep, so you want to get to know someone for who they are.
Yeah. Well, one would think, right?
Yeah.
One would think. But if I remember back to the first season, there were so many instances where you had that spark at the beginning when they first saw each other, met each other.
Yeah.
But then they quickly got the wandering eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that in 2020s that is a viable. I mean, especially with people who've been. That's my wife who just walked in. So.
Hey, Taylor.
Yeah, especially with people going from swiping on Tinder where
Yeah.
it is purely superficial
Yeah. I get it.
to going into just trying to find an emotional connection and then seeing that the person that they're with is not as attractive as they thought they'd be. That's
But through 2 episodes, I got to say it's been good so far. Everybody's been happy with who they've matched with.
Oh man,
and
you
who
got a
they're
lot
engaged
coming.
to.
So season 1, you said you watched season 1,
Yeah,
right?
I remember liking season 1, and I
Yeah.
just drug my feet on season 2 for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Well, I'm gonna name drop Kelly Chase.
Yeah.
She was in season 1. I went to University of Georgia. Like I hung out with her. We had like the same group of friends. So, and I'm like, I know her sister Ashley Chase too. So
Again, this was years ago that Love is Blind came out.
yeah,
Is she still? Did she get engaged on the first season?
yeah, she got engaged.
Is she still married?
No, she got engaged. This is Kelly Chase, right? That's that one.
Oh, I totally remember that
So,
now.
yeah, she like the guy she was dating was like he seemed like super cool, but
Uh-huh.
no, she wasn't into it at all.
Okay.
So she left him at the altar. It's kind of sad. But what do you think about this new season?
Again, it's entertaining so far. Can we talk about one character? And I'm going to try my best not to give any spoilers.
Please.
I got to talk about this Shane guy.
You got to do it.
Yeah, because there have been so many. I've worked with so many Shanes where it seems like they can't pay attention to any one thing. And the most entertaining thing about this guy is every time they cut to a shot of him, he is in a different position. He's laying down upside down. He's got his leg behind his head. And I've worked with so many Shanes, and it's amazing to me that he has not one, but 2 girls that are just, kind of drooling over this guy.
It's wild. And like, if you were to only hear his voice, he sounds like a little nutty.
Yeah.
And you also have a 2-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Does your 2-year-old gesticulate like he's
He's like a 2-year-old.
This guy's all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I think he would be fun to have a beer with. Let me just put it that way. But I'm like, just looking at this guy, I think his room is a mess. Like I can see him as the type who's just completely disheveled, right?
Yeah.
He's like, it's like, where's Shane? He's been eating pizza in his apartment for 3 days, or I don't know. He's off his meds.
The other thing too that gets me is he wears man prees, like the man prees, the cut off, the no socks, and then 2, it looks like he cuts off the sleeves of his shirts.
I don't know, man. Yeah, COVID.
And he's 30. Again, fact check me on this, but he's
Moses,
37 years old.
Really?
Yeah, 37. I feel like if you're that age, one, wearing man prees, not wearing socks with your shoes, and having physically cutting off the sleeves of your shirt. I don't know. And again, he's got 2 ladies throwing themselves at him.
Yeah, I don't know. Fashion. I've been completely divorced from fashion during COVID, so I wouldn't be able. I don't know. I don't know what the style is now. I don't know if people like maybe the man priest. Maybe he had those things before COVID. And
to be fair, I've found myself over the last few years just not caring about what I wear.
Me too.
I totally just have the dad shirts, the dad shoes, the dad pants.
Yeah. After getting married, I've definitely pulled back in my interest, like my clothing budget.
Not trying to impress too many people, huh?
Most of the clothes I get now come from my in-laws during Christmas time. But okay, here's another Shane and Shayna.
Yeah.
So.
All right, this is spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen it and you're curious about the show.
Oh wait, you haven't? I've seen the whole thing now.
I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen 2 episodes.
Well, one more episode. There's one more episode to come. But
okay.
Oh wait, what do you know about this?
So, who's the other girl? Natalie. Okay. So when he walked into the little cubicle, whatever they're calling, little pods, and he asked Natalie, like, "Oh, what's up, baby? I was hoping it was you. What are you wearing?" And he said, I missed you, Shayna, or it's so good to talk to you, Shayna.
That's awesome.
And then her face just immediately.
Oh my gosh.
Blank.
Oh my gosh.
And just a foot and mouth for Shane. And I felt for the guy, but I didn't. It was entertaining.
If anyone on that show was going to put their foot in their mouth, it was him.
We knew it was going to be him.
Yeah.
And I'm just, again, 2 episodes in, I'm guessing that's not the last that we're going to see of him.
Oh man. Well, I'm not going to get too deep into it because it'll definitely be a spoiler alert. But if you're a Love Is Blind fan, you've probably already seen what's happened up to this point in time.
Yeah.
And it gets really good. Oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, I was confused. I watched Married at First Sight too.
That's one that I haven't seen.
Because I'm married. There's some other, like, in this season I'm in Boston and there's like a crazy amount of drama there, but we won't go into that. Okay. So, do you have a question for me?
So I'll just say Love Is Blind. That's what I'm currently watching. If you go into MindGrapes, that's what's up there. I'm watching it with my wife. She loves this stuff. So it's fun just to banter and poke fun at people while also ignoring your own faults. Mm-hmm. Saying I would never do that.
Right.
But recommend it if you're into that kind of thing. Yeah. So, Clark, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
What's on your MindGrapes?
My MindGrapes. Okay, I'm glad you asked. Inventing Anna.
Okay, yes.
So you've watched that.
Yes.
That's what I'm currently watching right now. Honestly, I don't love it. I don't love it. I got to be honest. Like, her accent is terrible.
But that's what the thing. So people are being so critical of her accent in that show.
Yeah.
But if you listen to Anna Delvey in real life, that is what she sounds like. Oh, man. And my wife was the same way. Like, I was trying to get her to watch it with me. She could only watch a couple episodes. But it was the accent that was a huge turnoff for her.
So it's one of these things, right? So The Shrink Next Door. Have you seen that, or did you? Okay, there is there's a Wandry podcast for The Shrink Next Door, which is really, really good. And listening to basically this really abusive psychiatrist leak one of his patients' drive money over decades. It is an just thrilling podcast. But then when you watch it, they get it very, very close to reality. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like Will Ferrell's in it, and like it's very, very close to reality. But it is so dark.
Yeah.
You don't want to watch it because it is so dark.
Mm-hmm. It's
like, it's one of those things like, oh man, they nailed it. Like they stuck the landing on the accent. But it really is a turnoff.
It's the same thing. And so I was actually introduced to this Anna Delvey character a few years ago. There's a show on HBO called Generation Hustle.
Yeah.
And it's just an hour-long segment on some con artist. Mm-hmm. Or, basically some con artist. And she was featured in one of those episodes. Mm-hmm. And I was amazed. And in a good portion of that episode, they cover Rachel, which was the friend that paid for an entire Morocco trip on her company credit card.
I'll get you back, I promise.
Which is another story. But as soon as I saw this series drop on Netflix, I knew I had to watch it.
Yeah, I wonder if the Tinder swindler watched Generation Hustle.
Which, again, how is that dude doing exactly what he was doing before he went to jail? Maybe he's back out there in the world now.
Maybe we could turn this podcast just exclusively into our MindGrapes group, the frauds and whatever. In Inventing Anna, I don't know if you saw this, but oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. But the guy from Firefest,
Yes. Jeez, what's his name? Billy.
Billy McFarlane.
Billy McFarlane. Yeah. Okay.
He had like a little cameo, which was played by this one actor who actually had his own NBC series
I didn't know
called.
that.
Yeah, I mean, he just had a really small part, but I guess I wonder if Andy Delvey was actually in with Billy McFarlane. But man, there was just a lot of fraud going on. Like,
time, huh?
for two people who are trying to start an app,
But
I mean,
you got to respect the hell out of this girl. What she was able to do.
Yeah.
And the series, have you finished the series yet?
I think we got one.
Okay, I won't go too far into it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody watching, which is probably going to be my mom.
Yeah.
But
hi, Miss Reese.
Was she a con? At what point is her act fake, and at what point is it real?
So, when you just watch the series, at least up to what... Because I also saw the Generation Hustle, and I listened to another podcast about her at one point in time. She defrauded these people for like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, on one hand...
She opened up like checking accounts basically, or
she'd credit cards and like she'd go to hotels and rack up a huge bill and never pay for it.
$200,000 line of credits,
right? And she was able to use the sensibilities of people that's a vulnerability. We believe when someone says something to us, we trust what they're going to say, or we trust that what they're saying is real. And if she's like, well, I have a $60 million trust fund that I can tap into. I'll be able to do this. And you're also wearing Valentino. You're able to at least give credibility in a world where that's all that matters. Yeah. Like if I'm walking into what's a 5-star hotel in Europe and I'm wearing Valentino and I look the part.
Best Western kind of guy.
Most people can pay. Most people who are staying at the Four Seasons or something like that look like her, and they always pay. Yep. So she was able to anyway. She was a total fraud, which is why she's in jail for like a really long time. But she's making a ton of money off of these royalties for this.
Exactly. Selling her life story. Right?
Yeah.
Let's just say I wouldn't be able to do what she did. Just walk into a room of investors, and we're talking some of the most powerful financiers in all of America.
Yeah.
And have credibility with them and be able to get to the point of securing huge sums of money through them. $40-50 million.
I wouldn't have any issue trying to ask people for money. I would have an issue asking for people for money if I didn't actually have a plan in place.
Or you didn't actually have a trust fund.
But she seemed smart enough. She seemed bright, but she was also dishonest. So she could say, "Oh, I have all these KPIs, and here are my markers, and here's my Gantt chart for my plan of how." She can say all these things, but if you don't have market research, if you don't have any history building a company, and even better, you don't have history failing, then
she failed pretty hard.
Yeah, you got to hand it to her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Inventing Anna.
Inventing Anna is what you're currently watching.
Yes.
So you have one more episode, right? So
yeah.
What's coming up on the watch list after Inventing Anna?
So here, I got two things that I'm really excited about. Dylan has also watched this one, but I'm pumped about Downfall, the case against Boeing.
I watched the first 3 minutes of it. It was right before we went out and ran errands. I was intrigued the first 3 minutes, so that's also one that I'm going to go back and watch.
The next one is Severance. I'm super excited. That's on Apple TV. So that just looks awesome. So it's got, I always forget his name. Is his name Adam? But Adam Scott, yeah. And by the way, I'm checking my MindGrapes to see what all these people are in. But it's got this lady, Miss Casey, Dickon Lockman. She was in another thing that I saw. She was not very good. Man, she's in a ton of stuff. So never mind. Anyway, but so I'm excited about Severance. Have you even seen a trailer for that?
No, I gotta say I don't have Apple TV yet.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
When you get on MindGrapes and you see other people are watching and liking stuff, I signed up for Paramount and Peacock.
Yeah.
And I have the Hulu like primary TV subscription. I'm back at like pre-cable level, like the most expensive cable.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with me. And I think we are not alone in that fight. I think a lot of Americans, cut the cord because cable and satellite just got so expensive. But the solution was just dozens of streaming services.
Once cable's gone, you're just going to be back in. Netflix just keeps raising the price, but they keep having good stuff. Yeah. Like they keep me coming back.
I don't feel bad having to pay a little more for an Amazon Prime or a Netflix, as long as the content they're providing is top tier. And I think right now they're putting out a lot of good content.
I know we keep plugging MindGrapes, but we'll get back to it.
This is the MindGrapes podcast.
It is the MindGrapes podcast.
So download MindGrapes.
MindGrapes, hey, for all you listeners, for the 0 listeners we have at this point in time, we are growing, but not very fast. Download this app. Okay, so what are you most excited about? What do you have on your watch list?
Let me open it up.
Okay.
I'll tell you. So I got to finish Love is Blind, and I think they release weekly episodes of that. Mm-hmm. We're kind of watching this. We're on a reality kick right now. We're also watching Joe Millionaire, which is another highly entertaining show.
Really? We watched the first episode, and we couldn't get into it.
We're enjoying it, and it's because you get to laugh at other people's misery.
Gosh, this is the epitome of superfit. Like this is if Love is Blind is based on emotion. This is like you're gambling, hoping that this guy is rich, because you find out the guy's not rich, and you're like, oh, I don't want to. It's not going to work out, right?
But the thing is, okay, I'm not a millionaire. Just full disclosure, but they're acting like $10 million is a huge sum of money, which I'm sorry, folks, in today's day and age, while it's a lot of money, it's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they're acting like it's generational wealth. And I bet the 27-year-old, if he were to retire where he is right now and live off the $10 million, he would have a very humble lifestyle. But and the other guy too, he's not a slouch. He owns a contracting business, and they keep putting him off like he's just some dude off the street living in a cardboard box.
That is true. He's an entrepreneur.
He owns a contracting business.
He started a contracting business, which that's not an easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. So,
and there's a lot of money in that too. Okay, but anyways, got sidetracked. The one that I'm really excited about, and it hasn't been released yet, but it's coming up next week, The Dropout.
Oh, dude. So pumped. Dude, have you seen you've watched the trailer, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so for those of you watching that haven't heard of The Dropout, that's why you need MindGrapes, because it's been going around like a wildfire over MindGrapes. But it's the whole Theranos story.
Yeah.
Right? So if you could just, give us a quick little talk about what...
I'll read the overview out of MindGrapes. The story of Elizabeth Holmes, the enigmatic Stanford dropout who founded medical testing startup Theranos, lauded as a Steve Jobs for the next tech generation and once worth billions of dollars. The myth crumbled when it was revealed that none of the tech actually worked, putting thousands of people's health in grave danger. Dude, if I see a YouTube, I cannot get enough there.
I'm the same way. And it's amazing too, because her trial is going on right now.
Yeah.
And this is one that I'm really excited about. And I know that as soon as it drops, I'm going to drop everything else I'm watching and just focus on that.
God, that Elizabeth Holmes, so weird.
Yeah.
Right? Gosh, I wish I could have. Who was I need to the grandson of the guy. Apparently she was a very engaging speaker, but I love hearing from the Stanford professor. There's like this lady who's a Stanford professor and said, she would come to my office and she's like, she's got a dream like a Steve Jobs, like she's a techie and she wants to start this business where, from one drop of blood, and she's just like, it's just physiologically impossible. Yeah. The data that you're looking for, like the white blood cells or whatever that you have to collect at a massive scale to do a lot of these lab testings.
Amount of.
There's no science to do that. Mm-hmm. You just it's impossible. The information isn't in your capillary cells, and she's just like, You're crazy. Why are you doing this?
It goes to show you how far confidence will get you.
But I think it was this time. It's this time where the Billy McFarlanes, Elizabeth Holmes, Anna
That's
Delvey's,
so true. All of this was happening at the same time.
Everyone was looking for the unicorn. You know what a unicorn is?
Yeah.
$1 billion. Everyone's looking for the next Airbnb or Uber or whatever. And I guess there was a lot of money to go around. Fast Bank, or what is it? What is it?
That's the thing. There were a lot of these venture capital companies.
What is that big one? The one out of Japan?
I don't know.
SoftBank.
Okay, yeah.
They invested in WeWork. Adam, who's the WeWork
Which is
guy?
another fun story. There's a lot of great documentaries and docuseries about that.
I don't. There was something in the water in like New York and Silicon Valley where they were just investing in trash.
And you want these strong personalities, these Steve Jobs-esque type characters, and all these VC firms were trying to find that person.
Yeah. Now I think everyone's sick of that. Like it's like for people who are trying to start an app, like you have to have traction now. Mm-hmm. It's you have to have something. Not only do you have to have traction, you have to have something like meaningful. Like you have to have meaningful use. You can't just. Which I don't know. Some of these they all had little elements, but the WeWork guy. What was his name? Adam something. He was selling like.
Let me check.
He was trying to sell. I think he mentioned apparently in his like business plan he was like a tech business when all he was an office rental space business, which a completely viable business model.
Office leasing, yeah.
Adam
Newman.
Completely viable business model. He just anyway. But he took off with like $1 billion and like left all his people high and dry.
WeWork still exists.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen one in San Antonio.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a completely viable business model.
Yeah, after losing how much money for investors?
Billions.
Yeah.
SoftBank.
But hey, still in business. Good for him.
Yeah, man.
Bouncing back.
Okay, well, how are we on time?
We hit the 32-minute mark.
Okay, man. Well, I guess let's go on ahead and call this a wrap.
Yeah,
you got any last words?
Introductory episode.
Yeah, man. This was fun.
This is fun. For those of you that enjoy MindGrapes and enjoy seeing what other people are watching, we created MindGrapes because it solved a personal problem for us. Because this is what we would do, talking about what each other were watching, and this MindGrapes just provides an easier environment to communicate with your friends and find those streaming services where you can watch these shows that are trending.
Yeah, or if you're like me, you can. It's very difficult for you and a spouse to decide what to watch. So instead of getting in front of your streaming media and jumping from Hulu to Netflix to HBO, thinking that there's this something better out there. Here's how I explain it, and I doubt we have anyone with us at this point in time. But you have the paradox of choice, too many choices, which means you don't know, you can't figure out what to watch. And then you have buyer's remorse, like this fear of buyer's remorse, the fear of starting something that you're not going to like.
Watching 6 hours.
Watching 30 minutes of something that you could have been, like your opportunity cost. So it's very strange. So I will tell you this, I have more stuff to watch on my watch list than I have time for. So luckily
it's true, but the thing is, when you throw something on the watch list and when you can see what other people are saying about it, you feel confident when you know you get to that show or that movie or whatever that it's gonna be good. Yeah. Because other people are recommending it or not recommending it.
Dude, I like it, man. Download MindGrapes.
Yeah. Again, thanks for joining us. This is something we're gonna try to do pretty often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a great night. Day.
Yeah. Thanks.
Weekend.
What's on your MindGrapes?